Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Medcast KSMA. Today, we have got a guest with us who is multi talented. I cannot justify what he has done, so it's better to ask him directly. We have got with us Pierre Eftekhari. Sir, how are you? And please explain your achievements till now because I read your CV and there was a lot and a huge list of your achievements.
I have achieved nothing, I would say. We have just open, I would say, small roads that should be taken into account and move forward. But I've been going from many different places related all to the natural sciences, whether that is the medical sciences or physics or chemistry, in order to be able to build up something that probably could be used in medicine. So I would say that's the path that I've done. Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about the journey, as you were born in the Iran.
Yeah.
So let's just take us through the journey
Mhm.
about your birth, and then obviously your studies, and then all the things you have done.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Isfahan, the town. They said that if you meet 10, 11 of them are artists. Okay. It's the town of I would say crafty people, at the border of the Christians and Jews neighborhood, and then just before revolution, the family moved to Europe and Sweden, settled there, and I did all my studies from secondary up to university, passing through medical school, not finishing off, being more concentrated on clinical physiology, and afterwards leaving completely medicine to concentrate myself on basic science and leaving the bed, going to bench side and trying to develop technologies that I would like to do, and I still continue doing this. Yeah, and of course after Sweden, because of the acquaintances with France, and also my wife was French, so I moved to France to do a complete study with a PhD in immunology. In the meanwhile, I did human biology, and afterwards in UCL London, and went back to Sweden to do clinical immunology, and yeah, afterwards was the moving to France, and now I live in France for the last 30 years now.
All right. Sir, you've been a teacher, a scientist, a CEO. Let's just make it interactive. If your life was a movie, what would you call it, and what would be the basic idea of that movie?
The movie. Do you really think about your life like this? A movie, okay? It's well, this I would say this is a very beautiful movie, both mixed with documentary and romance.
Oh,
Yeah, because I've been a lucky person, been having a lot of people helping me, opening a lot of doors for me, and if it wasn't for these people that showed me a lot of empathy and also love, I wouldn't be here. That is for sure, because you don't do the journey alone, and you don't make your film either alone. Okay, you need to
yeah.
have people around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, sir, as we have already mentioned, you said that you thought that you had to leave the bed and you have to go to the bench to work something. I mean, how much the journey has taken you through that as a kid who was a nurse, and then obviously towards the scientific and the research purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, but my time in clinic, I was doing nursing when I was doing the medical studies. It was a point that actually, and at the same time, um, working at the lab. So the boundaries between the not knowing when you're at the clinical side and the probability or the chance to be able to know something when you're at the bench side, when you're at the lab, it was something that actually triggered me, and I couldn't see myself to to tell the patients, look, I know what you got. I understand about your pathology, but I cannot help you. So that was the thing that I couldn't see myself doing that. I wanted to go back and see what I can bring to medical doctors, to physicians, when they are dealing with patients. So I think I could play the better role there rather than just prescribing and explaining and trying to say that we call them, you're going to die anyhow. But yes, good luck. These are the things I couldn't bear myself to say.
So, was there any point at that moment when you thought that I can make it, or there were any points where you thought that I should give up?
Oh, giving up, never, never, absolutely not. The point is that I would see that pointless to be another doctor, like is what you do in medicine is huge. It's very important, and at the same time, it's not the responsibility of the physicians to come up with novelties, with innovations. You don't have time for that. Their days are completely overwhelmed by the daily have tos with patients. Um, this is most likely to think about is the scientists and people that are working in medical sciences that have got the responsibility to do that. So I wanted to be at that side, try to understand why. That's the most important thing. Why? That you could talk about the phenotype, yes, but what is the endotype? What is it that causing that, and how it is changing from one individual to another? And when I was in clinic, I was dealing with patients with that as a nurse or as a intern. These are the things that I couldn't figure out. You had a patient in front of you, but making a decision whether you would do or not, that's a protocol you go through.
Yeah.
And this is very bad. I couldn't bear it. That I use a general protocol to an individual that is in front of me that couldn't fit. It's like that you're thinking that one size fits all, but it doesn't.
Yeah, that actually teaches us a main basic thing, that learning never stops. So,
Never. Mm.
I mean, as a student, or as the other students who are currently listening us, we have thought of just one thing, that we are pursuing this profession. But to be honest, as hearing you, learning never stops. You have pursued one profession.
Mm.
You thought that, oh no, I need to do this, and then I need to do this, and then I need to do this. So no matter what your age is, learning never stops. So during this journey, I mean, just give a motivational line for the students who are currently listening you, specifically from Kyrgyz State Medical Academy.
Mm-hmm.
That no matter what they are pursuing, they will still have time, or they will still have chance to do what they want.
You will always have time. Having time or not having time is a matter of choice.
Yeah.
This is the one you make. There's a priority that you give in yourself, and well, this is never good enough. Never good enough. Even if you think that you haven't achieved anything. It's never. You're gonna have to keep continuing. It doesn't stop. And when you learn something, or you think that you've learned something, then it comes the very, I would say, tipping point is that, have I understood right or not? What part of that clinical reality am I mastering, and how can I use it? And until you haven't put it in practice, you don't know.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that never stops. Then you've got a question, you answer that question, then all of a sudden a new question comes up that needs more knowledge, more experience, and more presence to answer. So it's like a spiral that is opens up always. Every time that you answer a question, a new one comes, and you broaden your view. At least at one hand, about the art of medicine, because I don't believe that medicine is a profession. It's an art.
Yeah.
It's not a profession.
And
We
you
are
were
not.
born
We are.
in a
Yeah,
place where
yeah,
artists were.
exactly. And you are not, as a medical doctor. You are not professional. You are artist, because you are dealing with life, and we have to cherish life. That is the most important thing. If we get professional, this is the moment that we are taking distance from medicine. We become professional. We using protocols. We going by the guidelines,
Yeah.
and we don't question the guidelines. They should be questioned in every second of our days and for every patient. Do I agree with this? Yes. Why? I don't agree with this. No. Why? Because we get afterwards to the science. There is no theology here. You cannot say I believe or I don't believe. Hmm?
Yeah.
You could always say that I've got proof for that. That's experimental medicine, I've got proof for that for these reasons, for this patient, and I got proof for that, not doing it for these reasons.
Sir, but as we have already the proof, but at the same time, there's a concept of misunderstanding something. As you have patented different technologies and you have studied during that, what is that basic scientific discovery? Where do you think that students and researchers they are misunderstood about the fact?
Um, we are copying each other, and which means that you learn from your teachers, your professors, that have learned from their professors. Okay, you're passing on the knowledge from one generation to another. But if you don't question that, and if you don't say what is the reality of this and how far can it go, see the limits. We're gonna have to see the limits. As Popper would say that you have to falsify the
Yeah,
information. You have to see how far you could go before the theory is not true anymore. And this is exactly the same thing in clinic. So I would say that what we have missed and we are still missing is not only here in the modern world, if you say in Western countries, in Europe, in the US, is still to believe that we have understood and not questioning that knowledge.
yeah.
This is the most important thing, is that be skeptical about what your professor is telling you and challenge the professor about it. You say this, why should I take it granted? How am I sure that what you say it is true? You know,
Yeah,
then you get to the dialogue. Otherwise, you will actually face in always a monologue. And in medicine and especially in science, we do need dialogues, not two parallel monologues, two dialogues really to get in there, to challenge the idea and see how far you could go. The moment that you cannot go any further, which means that the knowledge is missing, then you're going to have to go search for it. Okay? When the dialogue stops, it's a time to go and search for knowledge.
yeah, but don't you think that it's also a dilemma? Because just in case you are getting a knowledge from some person, you are falsifying it, then you are experimenting and doing things to prove by nature or by any means. And then again, you need at the same time another teacher as well.
Exactly. And that was a mutual. That is why I'm using the dialogue. There will not be at the place of the master and the disciple. That would be at the place of two bright mind
Yeah,
with the same cause, which means cherishing life.
yeah.
They are discussing about it.
So, as much as I can understand, as a teacher, I mean, you've been a teacher as well. So, just in case you are teaching something, then student came up with a counter question, and then you got to know that no, this can be thought in a separate
Mhm.
way, and then both of you came to a separate point which was not in your knowledge before. Has there been any moments, such
Of
moments?
course, this is the wonderful moment. These are the way. As a matter of fact, as a teacher, you have got the name or adjective to be a teacher, but you're at the same time you're a learner.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the beauty of this dialogue is that you're saying something that you thought that you've understood, but the question from the student or the people that are in front of you, I would say, it actually makes you understand. Oh, probably you haven't seen this. Probably you need to go through, because what you've got in front of you, especially in medicine, is not something that's symmetrical. It has got many forms, and if you look at it from one side, you will be seeing it from one side. And this is what happens with for example, scientific papers, or what happens with the conferences. Everybody's looking at a problem from one side
yeah,
rather than standing up, going through and have a look at a problem from the other side. And this only happens if you challenge the idea. If you challenge the idea
yeah.
in an honest manner. It's not just saying that I'm more intelligent than you haven't understood anything, because it's not the case.
Yeah.
And if it's the case, the reverse is also true for the person that is asking,
Yeah.
but it is very important that be honest and try to move forward together. Is not a the battle of testosterone, I would say. It's we are leaving a period of our lives that we want to understand, because of medicine. We've got a responsibility to save lives.
Yeah. And in medicine, obviously, there is no point of completion at all, just in case you both have decided that, okay, this is something where we are ending up now. But that thing can be upgraded and updated in the
You
future.
should. It's not can be. It should.
Yeah.
You ought to, as a medical doctor, ought to challenge these things, because if you don't do that, you will be actually failing in the art of medicine to treating people. Mm? That's this whole idea. How honest you are with your students are honest with themselves, and ask themselves, how am I doing the right thing? Mm?
Yeah.
And if yes, where are the elements that prove it to me that I'm doing the right thing, or am I not doing it? I'm failing somewhere. There you've got the opportunity to improve. There you've got the opportunity to say that, okay, I've been learning, for example, doing this, but I realize that it's not true in every situation. You know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, sir, I just a random point came into the mind. There is an idea of myth as well in the medicine. Uh, there are a lot of myths, and just in case, if I would say any field, let's just take for now the cardiology. What are the myths which you think should be bursted?
Well, I just this is something that's general in everything what you do. In cardiology, um, um, let's say you talk about the heart failure, okay?
Yeah,
And in terms of the cardiac activity, you're looking at the NEHA, New York Heart
yeah,
Association, but these are the things that is telling you that if the patients find itself in there, is in heart failure, and if it's out, it's getting better. We've got a
yeah,
ejection fraction,
yeah,
cardiac output, all of these things. But these are the things that are standardized. The question is that if it's true for the patient that I've got in front of me, how far am I from that? Or it just because some association has put it as a standard, is it true in every case? you know and
yeah,
this is not true. Absolutely not true. It brings us to what is the individual or the patient's normal value.
yeah,
And that becomes more personalized. We make a lot of assumptions in clinic because of these, some of them, of course, when you are in infection diseases, you are in infection diseases, okay? But from the moment that it brings you to the hemostasis, so from the moment you are on the hemodynamic, from the moment that you are working on the um, sensory organs, vegetative systems, and all of these things, they are very much personalized. So it's not because that you got a standard value or
yeah,
reference value that is true for everyone. And most of these things has been done on Caucasians in Europe or in the US. In terms of the standard values, for example, what are the standard values for Central Asia? What are the standard values for India? These are
yeah,
the things that they are very scared. At the same time, even if you have it, it is not. It's absolutely not because your brother has got this standard value is the same for you. So
yeah.
everything is
Every
personalized.
person is
Yeah,
different.
yeah. We have to think about it and see where we should go.
Yeah, but as we have already mentioned that first of all, medicine is an art,
Mm.
and art is not limited.
Exactly.
Medicine is unlimited, but at the same time, we have these standards, we have protocols to follow. So, what do you think? Because a doctor has an unlimited things to do, unlimited ways
Mhm.
to think of some specific thing, but at the same time, he's been limited by the standards, by the protocols which he has to follow.
Mhm.
So, what do you think about such circumstances?
The protocol should be respected, but should also be considered to falsify for each patient.
Yeah,
For each patient, that protocol on its own is your reference point. But then the reality of patient in front of you tells you how far you could go. Would you accept that reference point, or you take distance from it. And these are the things that cannot actually be generalized. It's impossible. One size fits all doesn't exist. And you see it yourself. Let's say that we're talking, for example, about a receptor, yeah, and beta 1 receptor. You were in cardiology
Yeah.
then. We know that the beta blockers are working very well, but not on everyone.
Yeah.
Some people are not doing that. Knowing the fact that you've got a beta receptor, that in terms of the concentration you have got 100 receptor per femtomole of protein, a lot of receptors in this case. But how come some respond very well, they are in terms of the dose responding vigorously, and some
Yeah.
others are completely insensitive to that, or you're going to have to increase the dose. And these are the differences that we got in between the patients that should be foreseen by the physicians. Because what we do now in clinics, that you tell to the patient, oh, I think you need to have the beta blocker. We start with the lowest doses and then see what happens. Come and see me later.
Yeah.
And this is a gap, because the moment that you do that, you're actually inducing an iatrogenic remodeling in patient,
Yeah.
because patient is responding to that. So you're taking distance from the pathology that is from the beginning, and you move to a new state of pathology that actually either increased or modified by the drug. So we have to know before.
Yeah, and at the same time, these values are being taken into the account and being updated on those protocols which we
Of
discussed.
course, and if you don't do that, you go to jail for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is actually a circle which everything revolves.
It is up to the students to break it.
Yeah.
This is your responsibility. It's not just learning and applying it by the book, because if you do that, you will continue doing the same medicine as your peers. You will continue doing the same medicine as the generation before, and we find ourselves in the situation now that there is no cure. There's only symptomatic treatment.
Yeah.
Hmm?
And as we have talked about the books, as a founder of Innoviem Scientific and PIMS technology, what is that one lesson which none of the textbook has taught you?
Choose your battlefield. They never tell you. They tell you to bring you always to the normality, but it doesn't tell you that when you in normality, you're in a static situation. There is no dynamic. You have to move forward to understand and find the abnormality. Even when you are in pathology, the pathology on its own is the variety of that. We're talking about the endotype.
Yeah.
The endotype of 10 patients with heart failure are not the same. Although they have got heart failure.
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore treating them with the same method will be wrong.
Yeah.
And clinic shows it very well. So you cannot think about, and you can see, you certainly see as a student, when you read papers, scientific papers, or especially now with the LinkedIn and all the pharma companies, they're coming up with the idea that we are working to find the solution for cancer. It is if it's something is rubbish in life, I would say in pharmacology or drug development, this is this. Finding a solution for cancer. I can find a solution for a patient,
Yeah.
but I cannot find a solution for cancer. It's very pretentious, by the way.
Yeah.
Extremely pretentious.
Yeah.
And dishonest. Very dishonest.
And so as we are talking about the finding a solution comes up with failures as well.
Absolutely. Try and error.
And taking your life into the account, what is that one failure which taught you the most about?
I think I neglected economy. I'm not interested in economy. So as you know, as a founder of the company and things, you ought to, but I was lucky because science helped me, and I'm not dead, but I don't have any notion in economy, nothing. So this is the thing that actually has put me many times against the wall, find myself in a dire situation, but since the science was good, it saved me. But in a situation of somebody else, that's the real, I would say, the drawback.
And just in case, if I would ask you that I want to start a biotech company, what would be your first 3 or 4 pieces of advice?
It's not only for biotech, but I would say that do not start anything if you don't have any credo, if there is no belief behind it.
Yeah.
The only thing that will save you and make you going despite the sleepless night, despite getting up all stressed at 4 o'clock in the morning, not knowing what you're going to do the day after, or being challenged by your peers, especially the people that they won't absolutely challenge you, not for good, just showing that you're stupid, for example.
Yeah.
If you don't have any credo, don't start it. It is nothing that you have a biotech and all of a sudden you are a CEO. No, the other side, you have a lot of responsibilities, and it's a very, very dangerous situation if you don't have credo, you know. Um, and the only force that you would have, that you're not tired, you could get up, and even when the problems will come, you will welcome them because you know it's coming for a good thing. You have got you believing that medicine should go this way, you know, and this is missing, and I have to bring it. And since you don't know whether it's true or not, you're going to have to go until the end, until you see that what you were thinking, it is true or not. That is why I told you I haven't achieved anything, you know. Mhm.
So, sir, I just came into another thing. How much do you believe in predestination? Because I know science might not have any answer to it, but to be honest, I somehow think at some points you might also have thought that okay, I should do this, but another thing happens, and what happens is good for you.
Oh, no, I think I don't think about a predestination. I think because you are in action. By acting, you're changing things, and that opens the possibility for you. It's like that you got many different boards, different colors, different shapes, you know, and you cannot see it. The moment that you put your fingers in there and try to open the map, then you will see. So in that case, action is good. And if you don't act, you will always think about what if I do or if I don't do. Action on its own is bringing to you things, and in there you've got choice to make always, and the choice I would say that everybody should do. This is the one that is in line with the belief in the credo for the project. And the project on its own, this is the central one. Somehow you would say that with who I'm doing it, it is not important, but no, it is very important. The the initiator of an idea, of a movement, a novelty, whatever we have, it is not the key person. The key person are the one that are helping, that are coming and understanding the project. They might have different agenda, you know. Some would come because they think that we'll have a lot of money. Some others come because they think that they will have certain status. You know, they might have different agenda. Again, it goes with the phenotype and endotype, you know?
Yeah,
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 the same way. But they are there and they are very important because if you don't have this, or somebody that's initiating something, nothing will happen. Have a look at Martin Luther King, for example. He wouldn't be Martin Luther King if he didn't have Maya Angelou next
yeah.
to, you know, or the others that actually brought him up. So, but although he's an important one, but all the others, they are the essential.
Unsung heroes,
Yes,
you can say.
exactly. Yeah.
So, how much important the role of these unsung heroes is, first of all, I mean, as I read it somewhere that if you want to grow faster, do something alone, and if you want to grow longer, do something with your friends or with those who have the
There are
same
two
mindset.
different growth, you know.
Yeah.
There are two different growth.
So,
Uh, I would never do anything alone.
yeah. So
Never.
those group of the same-minded people,
Hmm.
it is always the one being helping you. Okay, sir. Another thing. You are speaking how many languages? It's around.
Well, I speak well all the Scandinavian languages, which is the Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, a bit of Icelandic, but because they are the same root, they are
Yeah,
from the Germanic language. A bit of German, understand more than anything else because of Swedish.
yeah,
I've good notions in English, very good notion in French, and my Persian is not really good, but I sometimes I do understand when people, for example, talk Kyrgyz. Some of the words I could pick up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you have visited a lot of countries. You speak a lot of languages. What is that one country or that one language which feels like home?
I feel home everywhere. I feel home here. I think because of the Persian root that I have, certainly it's the overlapping of culture. I feel home in France, in England, in where I go. I could feel home even in Israel. I'll grow up in a Jewish neighborhood when I was a kid, so I've got a lot of references. Well, I'm a humanist, so I cannot say where is my home. I could say this is France now because our daughter and my wife are in France. But if you were somewhere else, if it's in Kyrgyzstan, I would say Kyrgyzstan is my
So boundaries does not matter, right?
home. No, not at all. Is the starting point when you use the journey. The journey starts. Yeah, you might go back or
Yeah.
not.
So, sir, during your life, you, other than the science and the medicine specifically, what's that question which no one has ever asked you, but you think that someone should have asked
Why are you doing this?
you?
Why are you not doing something else?
So, let me ask you this, but in a different manner.
Mm.
Other than any scientific or research field, what would you be if not?
Artist, yeah. Because life without art, poetry, and music is empty.
So,
Mm.
as per my understanding, you have a good taste in art and the music. What are your favorite artists or singers or maybe
Well, in art,
musicians?
I'm very fond of modern art, of course, because it's very much intellectualized. So it's different movements. But what I'm interested in art is that when you see the unexpected things are coming. Oh, I wouldn't think about it that it would happen, and all of a sudden it starts an idea in you. And in terms of the music, I think the one that inspires me for the last 30 years is Rachmaninoff Second Concerto for Piano. That starts very slowly with the few notes of piano is like an idea you have,
Yeah,
that you initiate an idea,
yeah,
and it grows up very fast to the whole orchestra and the blossoming of music. It's like the idea, finally you find it, Eroka,
yeah.
I've got it, and this is
That's
very, very inspiring. Yeah.
yeah. Sir, as per my understanding, you have started collaborating with Kyrgyz State Medical Academy.
Hmm.
When did it started, and how do you think that in future this will take the research and the scientific projects of KSMA?
Well, it started in the because we do with Matthias Breidezet, and you will meet him. He's a good friend of mine, and we've been collaborating a lot. Um, um, well, neighboring countries from France and Germany, and he asked me to have a look at the paper that it was. I didn't know from Kyrgyzstan, and I found it very interesting, not at the scientific level, but in terms of the patients and the cohort that would be interesting to have a look. And then I asked Matthias who who's the author of that, and he put me in contact, and that was Norgol um, that we met and we discussed about, and we invited her to France and have 2 weeks at the lab, taught her a bit of small simple things, and then we decided to come here. Where we were back in France in Strasbourg with the proposition of Matthias Breidet. We said that we might start a lab that is named after was Kyrgyz European Translational Medicine.
Oh,
And Nurgul talked to the director, and they backed up the project. So we came here, and everything started from there, because from the beginning I was very interested in the cohort of the patients, and then when we start to work with your colleagues, that we had three postgraduate students that they came to the lab to help. Um, we were thinking to stay for 2 weeks to teach a couple of techniques, but they learned it in 3 days. And we were very amazed by that and said that, wow, we are holding here something.
yeah,
It is not that we could teach that to French students this way. With this, it's not that learn it, isn't they mastered it. We didn't need to be behind them. For people that they had difficulties, they didn't know anything about molarity, for example, how many microliter you need to have, or even had a micropipette in their hand before. For the first time, their hand, they master it, not making any mistakes. And you see that these people, they don't have, as we say in France, two left hands. They really have a right hand and a left hand, and they could use it very well. So in there we started everything. The whole project started from there. Beginning of that was helping with the PhDs. So some of them are actually, we are ending now. And when we had a look at the medicine in here, it was obvious to me that we are far behind. If we say that is being a line in advance or behind in about some references, let's say that Europe and US are the references. And if you look at that, so we are far behind, and wanted to catch this up. It would be almost impossible with all the money in the world, because it's a matter of culture, it's a matter of looking at the problem, analyzing the problem. I'm not saying that what's happening in Europe or in US are the good. I actually argue against it.
yeah,
I think that's not good at all.
yeah,
There are a lot of mistakes, and then I say, well, here we've got a pure virgin ground, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, so we could work together and have a look at the mistakes that have been made and they are making now, not making the same thing. So that was the whole idea, and I said to the direction, said, do something new, that they don't do it in Europe, they don't do it in the US. Then you will be ahead, because you're changing the reference, question
yeah.
of the reference, you are changing the reference. So Kyrgyzstan could be the reference, and they will start to work. And now with the whole project of the biobank, that is giving a very good starting point, not only working at the level of the endotypes for each patient, but also bring a bit of help, economic help from pharma companies to, and probably with a bit of luck, I think, and bit of luck and a lot of work, having research money, something that could be, we call it research budget, and also contributing to the lab, and using that to bring knowledge and opening that to Europe by exchange of the students, bringing also physicians from Europe. For example, in France, they don't have any clue about high mountain medicine, when you're high altitude medicine, you don't have it. So that would be very interesting to bring them here and study. The same thing if you have a look at fibrosis, the fibrosis you've got at the level of Bishkek, it hasn't got the same origin that you would find it in Narin or even higher than, So it opens the door. So these are the opportunities, first of all, for the sake of life, cherishing that, but at the same time for the education. So we will learn from each other.
Yep, and as you mentioned, how much these cross countries, cultural differences, different work ethics, they can help uh, to grow yourself and to grow your work or your research projects.
It, it depends on, again, how you look at it. If you think that differences are bad, it not have, but you think the differences are very good because at that moment you will be seeing different references, then it's wonderful. And I happen to be belonging to the second group that if if you are conservative in your thought, you are conservative in your thought. So you will just only be seeing this. You're secure in that. But we are talking about medicine. We are not talking about family heritage. We're not
Yeah,
talking about the culture of the country, which should very much be cherished.
yeah,
And in that case, Japan, you could have it as an example, a country that is highly modern, extremely advanced in many different areas, including medicine, but they are highly traditional.
yeah,
It's not absolutely contradictory. So I would say, in terms of the science, we have to be very open-minded, extremely open-minded, at the limit to questioning every single thing and try to find own answers for. And at the same time, never choose the battlefield of somebody else. That is your battlefield, that you will fight for it. And every intelligent mind, which you have a lot of them in this country, should do it.
yeah. Coming towards the end of the podcast, how is your time currently going in Kyrgyzstan?
Very good. We had very good meetings with your certainly. I'm working with many of your professors that you have class with. We have many projects, and Biobank is going very well. I'm very positive about this, and hopefully within a year we could do a I would say look back and say how far we've gone, and how these actions has put Kyrgyzstan in the center of another look from Western countries.
All right. And at the end, any advice to our listeners and our viewers?
Well, I couldn't say any advice. Who am I to give an advice? But I say that what I do personally, um, to me, as I said, it is never good enough. Never. Um, if there is anything to be happy about, is that you got a chance to do it.
Yeah,
That's the only thing. And being thankful for it. But there is another thing that I tell myself always is that I happen to be very lucky going through life in first class journey. Then I'm responsible. And that responsibility is that we're going to have to take care hands of others. And I would tell you, if you can do that, please do it. Because this is the way we get to the education, we get to the dialogue, and we get to improvement. No matter how many sums you'll have at the end of the month, it's better to have the smile on the face of your patient,
yeah,
seeing a dad happy that you've saved the little daughter, or a mom that is stopped crying because the son he can go back to school.
yeah.
This is the best salary you could have.
With this very beautiful message, thank you so much, sir, for being on the set. It was very interesting podcast, to be honest. Thank you so much for
But
coming in.
thank you for the opportunity that you've given to me, and also thank you, all of you. Please do fight. Do not stop. Yeah, you are very good, very good.
And with this positive message, please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Thank you so much.